Your code to show a films.
Hey, listen! Hey, listen!
Shalom and welcome to another episode of Sorcery, the documentary. This is little son Sabal, Nabaya. In today's episode, we are going to go into the home of everyone who is listening right now. Today, we are all going to go into our medicine cabinets. According to market research, the worldwide pharmaceutical market is a $1 trillion industry. In 2019, in the U.S. alone, over-the-counter drugs or non-prescription drugs in the United States generated around 32.2 billion US dollars. Nearly every home is stocked with a medicine cabinet. Medicines for cold symptoms, medicines for digestive issues, medicines for pain and fever. These are just a few of the types of medicines that are standard in most people's medicine cabinets. But what are the ingredients to most of these medicines? And what are the origins behind some of these active ingredients? To find out, we have to take a look at the rudiments of the earth. We have discussed in previous episodes the way that sorcery is involved whenever plants are used to establish or perpetuate a lie. When you are filled with feelings of falsehood that detach you from reality, this effect is generally referred to as getting high. But what sorceries lie in the perverse tampering of nature that lead to our medicine cabinets? To find out, we're going to speak with our honored guest, Amma Rakamnaya. Amma is a student of herbalism. She can provide insight into the vast array of the properties and relationships between plants and the physical world. Keep in mind that everything that was created in the physical world was first created in the spiritual world with a specific vision. So, Amma, please elaborate on your findings in regards to herbalism and the pharmaceutical industry.
Shalom, everyone. This is Amma Rakamnaya. Like my husband said, I have been learning about different things concerning the plant kingdom. One of the things that I've been learning is a process that plants go through. It's called phytochemicals. They all have phytochemicals. It's split up into two different categories. You have primary metabolites and secondary metabolites. It's a process that plants go through. It's chemicals that they let off to create protection for themselves. So like a defense mechanism in sorts. Think about like a skunk, and how if it feels threatened, it lets off, its odor. That's similar to what plants go through with these photochemicals. So the chemicals, the primary metabolites help the plants to grow, but the secondary metabolites are what we're mostly going to focus on right now. They are the plant's defense against outside forces, whether that's pollinators, bacteria, viruses, or herbivores such as, ourselves. And so, the secondary metabolites are what we're going to be focusing on today. They're split up into a few different categories, but the one that really caught my attention was the alkaloids. And you'll understand here as I explain. Alkaloids are such as, I'll give you an example of an alkaloid. When you take the opium, you take the poppy plant, okay, and you synthesize the alkaloids in the poppy plant, meaning you take the plant and you heat it to try to extract whatever you're wanting from the plant. That creates morphine. It also creates, hydrocodone, oxycodone, cotton. Those things come from alkaloids being synthesized. Okay? Heated up, extracted, different things. So, another form of this is with the synthesized process, the heating up, the Frankenstein process that it goes through. Okay? When the coffee bean is the coffee bean, the alkaloids in the coffee bean are synthesized. That is how you get caffeine. Okay, same thing with the tobacco leaf. When you take the tobacco leaf and the alkaloids synthesize from it, that's how you get nicotine. Same with heroin, same with codeine. Okay? And so alkaloids are often very bitter. There's a reason for this, because the plant doesn't want to be eaten. It's its defense mechanism. So alkaloids are often very bitter, which dissuades potential herbivorous attacks. So it's creating an insecticidal, quality. Okay, meaning, it protects the plant against harm. And so what happens is, when you take a plant that is, as we know, an element of righteousness, and you put it through a process, okay, that heats it up using another element of righteousness, such as, in this case, fire, to heat up this plant. Its natural response is to create an alkaloid effect, which in response gives the Frankenstein, the person, I don't know what you call it, whoever, the scientist or whoever is in the lab trying to create this concoction, it gives them the desired outcome, which is nicotine, which is caffeine, which is morphine. Even some teas, like the green tea that I drink, it has caffeine in it, but it says naturally occurring caffeine. Well, yes, when you take the green tea and you heat it up, it creates those alkaloids that are caffeine. So that is the thing that, it is defying righteous element. Okay? That's what makes it dangerous, is when you take a holy element, such as these plants. There's nothing wrong with the poppy plant. There's nothing wrong with the coffee bean plant. There's nothing wrong with the tobacco and the tobacco leaf. Okay? But when you do something such as heating it up, it creates a process. It creates a defense mechanism to arise within the plant, which gives, certain people the high or the effect, I was just watching a YouTube video not too long ago, and it said that, coffee is a drug, and it's probably the only drug your parents will encourage you to consume. And, alcohol, caffeine, two of the drugs out there that are legal and, we use. And so, I was just talking to my husband a little while ago, and I was like, babe, this is very valuable information, because when it's taken and looking at this type of level, as far as like, the, how would you say, like the, like a scientific point of view, not even from a spiritual point of view, but a scientific point of view. And when you have to synthesize something, or where you have to take something that's alkaline and make it alkaloid, where it's being tampered with, it's sort of like the loid, it means, like alkaline. So it's like, it's a process that is being, it's being messed with. And so that is just one form of a secondary metabolite. They have others like terpenoids and phenolics and stuff like that, that are really amazing as well for, insect repelling, such as menthols. You have other things such as like the salicin that comes from, the willow bark, which there again, you have scientists who go and try to play God. They've taken the willow bark, they have concentrated it, they have heated it up, they have extracted the salicin from it and created aspirin. Okay? And so now they're like, well, we've got this aspirin, but it's messing people's stomachs up. Okay? So then they got to buffer it. But if they would leave willow bark alone and keep it in its natural form, in its natural state, like the Native Americans done, like my ancestors done, if you leave willow bark alone and keep it in its natural state, it works synergistically and acts as a natural buffer. The chemicals in it, the phytochemicals in it, act as a natural buffer to the potentially harsh side effects within salicin. So you get the effects of the willow bark, like you would get the effects of the aspirin, but not the negative side effects such as the stomach lining being torn up. Okay? So these people, they ain't slick. They know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, willow bark has amazing properties for anti-inflammatory stuff, pain reliever, but fever reducer. But they don't want to leave well enough alone. They, anyone can go pull back the bark of a willow and extract that, the willow bark and grind it up and make it into a mush and put it on themselves. Anyone can really do that. So they had to make it marketable, So there you go. Now you have aspirin. But, it has potential side effects, and that is messing with the lining of your stomach, which can cause, bleeding ulcer, bleeding and different gastrointestinal issues. That's where, you've got, stomach issues, different types, where your stomach lining is upset and stuff. So all these things come with, all these different pain relievers and different stuff come with side effects. It's because most of them come from, like I said, a leaf, a tree, a bark, a root, whatever, and they've extracted and they've heated it up. They've done stuff to it, and when they've done stuff to it, plants trying to survive, defend themselves, and create these other things, these alkaloids, and so that's where it gets, that's where the line is drawn, and that's where, it becomes, like my husband says, sorcery.
Thank you, Amma. Much appreciated. Now we can understand the process that occurs when fire is put to certain plants. When metabolic conversion occurs, the synthesized result is sorcery. So, it is just like Amma said. She used the example of her green tea. The green tea, when it is heated, yields caffeine. In case you are wondering, now that this has been revealed, she will no longer drink green tea because of repentance. Coffee is the same way. I want to emphasize the fact that the plant itself is good. Let us go into the King James Version Bible to Genesis chapter 1, and let us read verses 11 and 12. They read, "And God said, Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good." Just because something is good does not mean that it cannot be perverted. The process of synthesizing alkaloids is not unlike what wicked men do to children. I'm speaking of those who purposely scare children so that their own body's defenses will create adrenaline, and that adrenaline will pump into the blood, and then they will cut the children and drink the blood, because the properties of that in the blood will help them sustain their vanities. That also is sorcery. Let us go to the book of Revelation, chapter 18, and let us read verses 1 through 5. "And after these things I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and is become the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth are waxed rich through the abundance of her delicacies. And I heard another voice from heaven, saying, Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. And her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities. And now let us drop down to verse 23. It reads, And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. And the word in the Strong's Concordance that is used for sorceries in this verse is pharmakia, medication, that is by extension magic, sorcery, witchcraft, the use of administering of drugs, poisoning, sorcery, magical arts, often found in connection with idolatry and fostered by it, the deceptions and seductions of idolatry. All of these medications, even those sold over the counter, those that are in your very medicine cabinets as we speak, all of them are evil being perpetrated as good. Let us go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 5, and let us read verses 20 and 21. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe unto them that are wise in their own eyes and prudent in their own sight. Let Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 21 be declared upon everyone who is listening to this video. Hear now this, O foolish people, and without understanding, which have eyes and see not, which have ears and hear not. Jeremiah chapter 5 verse 30 and 31. A wonderful and horrible thing is committed in the land. The prophets prophesy falsely, and the priests bear rule by their means, and my people love to have it so. And what will ye do in the end thereof? Let us now look into our medicine cabinets. Let us see just a few of the items that may be lurking therein, waiting to deceive and carry out the works of Belial. Pepto-Bismol, something that is supposed to be soothing to help your stomach, contains aspirin, something that is known to hurt your stomach. Throw it in the trash. Bayer aspirin. Throw it in the trash. Midol contains caffeine. Throw it in the trash. Benadryl contains titanium dioxide, a compound that can be found in craters formed by meteor impacts. That means it is a follower of Semihaza and Asael. Throw it in the trash. Mylanta contains aluminum hydroxide, aluminum, a known heavy metal, and a fallen watcher. Throw it in the trash. Excedrin, the headache medicine, contains aspirin and caffeine. Throw it all the way in the trash. Ibuprofen contains titanium dioxide. Throw it in the trash. Cold Relief Plus compares to Alka-Seltzer Cold Plus. Contains aspartame and aspirin. Throw it in the trash. We can do this all night long because medication after medication after medication continues to have harmful elements in it that will cause you to have side effects. But true healing has no side effects, because when you're healed, you're healed. Now, let me remind you of a verse. Let us go to the book of remembrance, and let us go into 1st Achi, chapter 12. And let us read 1st Achi, chapter 12, the first few lines of verse 57. That's 1st Achi 12:57. It reads, "And Semihaza proclaimed he was the nursing mother of all mankind, and many sicknesses spread abroad among the wicked, and the Dekadarshi were their healers, and the sufferings of the people rose up like the smoke of burning." You see, if you say with your mouth that the fallen watchers have not been healing to you, yet you take products that are in your medicine cabinet that actually contain the embodiment of fallen watchers inside of them, then understand that you are a liar. Repent and sin no more. Throw this junk in the trash. Do not forget that the Most High has given us, He has given us herbs of the field to be for us meat and for healing, for every disease that is out there, for every ailment that you can have. There is something that is from the earth that carries a vision that can actually help you and not hurt you, that can heal you and not give you any side effects. As a matter of fact, let me put you guys onto something you can purchase that won't harm you, that won't have any side effects. Don't get me wrong, you still have to use wisdom when you're using it, just like you have to use wisdom when you're drinking water. There's a story about a child somewhere on the East Coast, I believe one of the Carolinas. And this child, she went to get herself some water to drink. And her parent said, "Since you in there getting that water, you better drink all of it." So this child drank. I don't remember the exact amount, but she drank. She drank a few liters, if not a whole gallon of water. And this liquid entered into her. Now, water is a pure and holy liquid. Yet, when not used in moderation, it can be a harmful force. And this little girl died because the water entered her and flooded out her organs. So understand that you have to use wisdom and moderation with everything. But with that said, let me put you on this product. This is a product that is not good for children because they're still developing, and it can actually be used to hurt them while they're still growing. However, for adults, it will help you, not hurt you, and will not give you side effects. This product is by a company called Nature's Willow, and this product is called Willow Bomb. It is a mixture of oils and white willow bark. It can be used for temporary relief of minor aches and muscle pains associated with arthritis, simple backache, strains, muscle soreness, and stiffness. So instead of getting icy hot, get this stuff. Let me tell you, I put it on my neck and it works amazingly. These are the type of products we should be seeking out if we don't know how to go directly to the herb and use it ourselves. Ask your elders. A lot of the older people, They know about a lot of these different things. They know about how you can go outside and you can pluck up a dandelion and take its roots, and you can create a tea after you dry those roots that will actually help heal you from some things. They know how to use ginger, cardamom, and the juniper. They know about turmeric and St. John's wort. They know about mullein and mustard and pine needles. Understand that there is a wealth of information to be gotten from our elders who used to heal themselves with things that were readily available in nature. You don't need to go to Walgreens with their witch's pot with stars going into it on their symbol. Go look in your backyard and see what's growing on your own property. Ask your Father in heaven to reveal these things unto you, and then you can help be a blessing to others. This is little son Sabal, Nabaya, saying much love, much respect, and much shalom.
Your code to Shoei Films.